Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox. I want to talk to you today about medical gear in your vehicle. You know, I was a firefighter, volunteer firefighter for over 10 years. And here, I'm not trying to be sneaky. And I don't know, 3 to 5 calls a week we'd go on. And the vast majority of those calls were vehicle accidents. And people died on many of them, or were grievously wounded. And almost always there'd be people standing around, typically the people that called 911, while people were bleeding out, dying, hurt, just standing there with their cell phone in their hand, not helping. Didn't have the knowledge, didn't have the kits, things like that. So I want to talk to you about that a little bit. I learned a technique from a state trooper. And that is this. Let me just switch this around. This is the passenger side sun visor, and can you see that? This is a tourniquet. So you just have it right here so you can grab and go. You can use it on yourself or, you know, more better, on somebody else, but you have it right here at hand. You have to know how to use a tourniquet, but that's important. The other thing is, I don't know what your vehicle looks like. You know, it could be all messy, stuff all over it. I see some people's cars in parking lots that look like they're hoarders in their car or something. And where would they keep a first aid kit that they could get to it without, you know, unburying it? Well, a technique I learned in the military, we used to have Velcro on the back of our seats, and we would keep a first aid kit right behind the passenger seat. That way the driver can grab it on exiting the vehicle. And so what I did is I've got this kit right here just slung over the back. It's hard to hold the camera and do it. Slung over the back of the headrest right here. And I figured I'd show you what's in it. I'm going to leave the tourniquet in here. I'll show you what's in my kit and we'll talk a little bit more. But let's get inside where it's cooler. All right, we're back. So when you need a medical kit, you need a medical kit, right? You need it with you right there at the time. And so you need to carry one in your vehicle because we're mobile, we're around our cars most of the time. You know, you're probably going to see an accident that you could help with while you're on the road, that kind of thing. But here's the deal about medical gear. It doesn't last forever. You know, even Band-Aids and gauze pads and stuff actually kind of expire in that in a hot car, you know, the glue starts going bad after a couple years and the paper opens up, you lose your sterility, yada, yada, yada. And so I just decided I wanted to start with a new kit. And so I contacted my good friends at campingsurvival.com and I elected to get this kit right here. It's like the group size adventure medical kit. They call it the Weekender, right? I'll put a link to it down below if you want one. And here is a list of everything that's on it. Okay, so that's all you wanted, right? I'll show you what's in it. Now what I did though is I have to put my cheaters on. Does it look weird having 2 pairs of glasses? All right. What I did is I elected to enhance this kit a little bit, and I guess we'll get into that. Obviously, I have a tourniquet hanging on my visor. In this kit, what I added, I just want to show you that it fits in here, right? I've got this just a string that I hang over the headrest. But in this kit, I added some more trauma stuff, and you'll see why. So the first thing is right here. It's a compression bandage. It has a little Guga on it that you wrap it around and then you can kind of use it like a windlass. It's not a tourniquet, but you can crank down and put some serious pressure on there. And so this is called the Thin H bandage. I like it because it is thin and it soaks up a lot of blood. I've used them before. Good stuff. Kind of like an Israeli battle dressing. And then the other thing I added to my kit was this right here. The emergency bandage, which is just it's super, this is like rock hard. It's just a whole lot of gauze when you've got to deal with something. And again, there's ways to tighten this up and stuff, but you know, if you have a major trauma or something, this is good for that. So there's that. So I'll set that down there. I guess I'll show you things one at a time and then kind of show you the overall picture. Now, when you open this up, has these zippers on it like this. I really like this about it. Badunk, badunk. Can you see that? So actually, with my string right here, if you had to, you could hang this over a rear view mirror while you're working on somebody on the ground or something like that, and everything is easy to see. It's all in special built pockets, so you know kind of where to go. And this is a new kit to me. I'm not super familiar with it yet, so I need to familiarize myself with it more so I can know right away where things go. But the first thing right here is your personal protective equipment, PPE. It says bleeding and CPR. There's a pair of gloves in there. Can you see those? Gloves and a CPR mouth shield right here. And so we've got that in here. I'm not going to take all this stuff out. And then this says fracture or sprain. And basically it's a ACE bandage, right? Right in here. And then this says first aid manual, medications and instruments. And so I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, where's the first aid manual? Oh, maybe they mean this little thing down here. Nope, check this out. When you open this up, there's not only these pockets here, but there's a pocket back here with more goodies. And so, yeah, there's a first aid manual. Now, you know what? You're not gonna have time to read this when something's going on. So if you're not already really good with first aid, you should probably read this now. Take this and stick it in your bathroom or next to your bed or something like that. We've got a triangular bandage back here. And for those of you who know, you can make splints and head wraps and slings and all kinds of things with that. Use it like a do-rag. And then we have bite medication. There's Benadryl tabs in here. Hold on, I'll just pull it out. I have to set it down. Here, I'll just show you. There's like a little medical pack here, and it has ibuprofen. What is in this one? Aspirin. I'll read you the stuff off the list. There's after stingies, that kind of thing. Over here we have some steri strips. If you don't know how to use steri strips, you should. They're like on-the-fly sutures. So if you have a big gash open up, you can close that with steri strips. Some safety pins. And then in this tube is a pair of tweezers, if you have ticks or something to deal with like that. Over here is an irrigating syringe. In this medical packet right here is tincture of benzoin ointment for blisters and things like that, and you can irrigate with this. There's iodine packets in here, little packets, almost like a soy sauce packet. There's just so much stuff in here. I don't want to bore you, but there's dressings here. There's what is this right here? Oh, this is the povidone iodine solution. This is the soy sauce packet I was talking about of iodine if you need to irrigate or treat a wound. Band-aids of all kinds, those kinds of things. And then another pocket back here with more gauze and big dressings and little dressings and tape right here. Another duct tape, it rules the universe, that kind of thing. We have some alcohol wipes and a little thing of tincture of iodine for cuts and things like that. So there's all that. This is enough to treat a lot of, did I show you these? I don't know if I showed these. Big gauze, things like that, tape. You could treat significant injury one time kind of with this. You could treat a bunch of people, like it says on a weekend, you're going hiking, camping, or whatever. It's always good to have something like this with you. And like I said, what I added to it, put my CPR shield back in here. What I added to it was just more trauma dressings in case, I come across big stuff. I'm telling you, this kit in combination with these two pressure dressings and the tourniquet, you could deal with a car wreck, fairly well. You could deal with anything less than that, certainly. Somebody gets hurt, sprains an ankle, bee stings, cut, burn, all that stuff. This is a good little kit to have on you. So you need something like this. You need something in your vehicle, and if you have something in your vehicle already and you're like, yep, I'm good to go, Joe, I got it. Cool, here's what I tell you to do. Can you get to it quickly? Because when somebody's bleeding or not breathing, you need to get to them quickly. Can you grab it quickly and go? Is it in a form that, boom, you can grab what you need where you need it, right? You're not like rummaging around in an old lunch pail or something looking for your gear. And thirdly, have you inspected your stuff to make sure it's still viable, good, not, you know, these packets didn't open up and squirt all over everything, things like that. The list, I'm not going to bore you. It has a bunch of stuff in it right here. You can go to the website and read all the stuff that's in there. I think it's well worth it. It works for me. If you're interested, I'll put links to all this stuff down below. Go give them a look-see. But here's the deal. You need to have something like this on you, around you, and in your vehicle or at work. You could take something like this. I had a medical kit about this big that I built myself at work when I worked in a cubicle land in the bottom drawer of my desk in case something happened. You can also give it for a gift. My daughter said in a video I shot about a year ago of her, my dad gives us things like knives and flashlights, and I would add first aid stuff. It's how he shows us he loves us. Yeah, it's true. I do. These are good things to have. Go get you one. All right, I'll see you out there. Hey, as long as we're talking about medical gear, somebody sent me a minor surgery kit. It says surgical instruments, minor surgery kit, which also happens to come from, you got it, campingsurvival.com. It's rugged canvas case. These snap. It has a, what is this, Molly Powell's webbing. What do you guys call that? Right here on the back. Not that I recommend like strapping this to the outside of your assault vest or something. You're going to see why here in a second. But let's open this bad boy up, shall we? So let's see here. Let me crank this over. That should work. Okay, so we have these snaps here. You just open it up, and then you can see that everything is protected. And so when you lay it out, let me see if I can do this better. Stand you up. There we go. You open these flaps up like this, and lo, we are ready to take out somebody's appendix. All right, let's see what we got in here. We have a dental pick. We have a pair of scissors right here, very sharp. 3 hemostats, clamps. They can be used for all kinds of things. I've seen people use them for flies when they're fishing. I've seen people use them for other illicit purposes. I've seen I know of people who've actually clamped off bleeders out in the field femoral with these. And so there's 3 of them. There's this one. They lock at the back here, so you can clamp down like a pair of pliers. See that? See that? And then this little guy right here, it clicks and locks, so it holds it shut so you can let go. You don't have to sit there and put pressure on it. Also have these curved hemostats right here. And another pair, straight hemostats right here. You can lock them. So those are good to have. You know, you could also use these in vehicle repair if you wanted to, temporary. This, well, I'll come to that later. Pair of forceps, tweezers, as you all call them, right there. The coolest little pen in the world. It's a good ballpoint pen, right? But look at the end. Can you see that? Take this off. Ooh, I like that. I think that's pretty cool. That goes there. This is a scalpel blade handle right here. And the way it works, oh, see, you have more stuff in here. There's a pouch. There's a pouch down here in the bottom with all kinds of goodies. You take these scalpel blades. I'm not going to open them because then they wouldn't be sterile anymore. But they're basically like razor blades that snap on to the end here. And so you have a scalpel that you can cut with. There's a pack of sutures. I know that campingsurvival.com sells more sutures, and this kit has lots of room. You could stick more in if you know how to suture. It's a good skill to know how to do. And then some antiseptic wipes and alcohol pens. cancel, close, instead of have low battery. And so that's what you get for a basic kit. If you wanted to, you could handle some minor surgery. You know, you could deal with blisters and, like I said, take out an appendix. Hey, you know, they are tools. If you know how to use them, you can use them. I think having these is good even if you personally don't know how to use them. And you could figure out how to use a lot of these for other things other than surgery, right? I mean, I guess dealing with a boil is technically surgery, if you think about it. You're cutting skin. But somebody could come along who actually does know how to use them. You wouldn't want to use them if you didn't have to. Right now, like this, you'd want to sterilize them in like a steam can or pressure can or something like that. A technique is to sterilize them now, put them in those heat-sealed bags and seal them up so that they stay sterile until you need to use them, but then they wouldn't fit all nice in the little kit in all that plastic. So something to think about. Maybe you need to add that to your medical supply box too. All right, I'll see you out there.